Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast. My name is Gordon Duncan. I'm the owner of Capitalize Marketing and Consulting, and this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network of shows. Here on Mondays, we have This Is Gonna Hurt, which is a personal growth podcast, making a better you. On Tuesdays, we have Coach Training Partners, which helps coaches create programs and increase their revenue. On Wednesday, we have the Capitalize Your Best podcast, which is a business and marketing growth show. On Thursdays, we don't have a formal podcast, but we do have a live 11 a.m. Eastern capitalized coaching call within the Capitalize Your Best online community. I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end. And then on Fridays, we have the You're Entitled to Your Opinion, which is a pop culture show with interviews and reviews and that kind of thing. But right now, friends, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and hanging in there all these years. One thing that we try to emphasize at Capitalize Your Best Marketing and over on the personal side at Capitalize Your Best Life is we want people to make an impact. And we help them make that impact by finding the thing that they're gifted at and growing it, capitalizing their best. So, for example, over on the business side, we help people find what's that unique thing about you and your business. And then we help them speak to a target audience and they grow their revenue. That's the impact they're looking to make. Over on the personal side, when people want to get better physically or they want to grow spiritually or even mentally, we find that area where they have a strength and we help them grow it so they can make the impact they want to make. Well, that's the topic I want to talk about today. I want to talk about 3 things that people need to know if you want to make an impact. So if your goal of your impact, if the goal of your impact is to not just be personal, but to actually affect others, there's 3 things they need to know. So maybe you want to start a coaching business and you want to help people lose weight, or you want to help people understand fatty liver disease, or you want to help people navigate autism, or whatever the case may be. There's 3 things people need to know about you to do that. Let's say you want to make an impact for a nonprofit. If you want to make that impact, there's 3 things that people need to know. When I'm working on the Big Brothers Big Sisters board, there's 3 things that people need to know if we're going to make that impact. So I've got 3 things that people need to know. One thing that people need to know if you want to make an impact is that people need to know what problem you solve. If people don't know what problem you solve, you're not going to be able to make an impact. I'll give you an example. Let's say that with the Capitalize Your Best Life program, if people understand my epilepsy journey, and then I can help them with mindset training, and through that mindset training, they're going to be able to think differently when they face their challenges. They're going to know that's the problem I solve. They go, oh, if I work with Gordon and Capitalize Your Best Life, I'm going to grow in my mindset. And I'm going to grow in mindset training so that then when I face challenges that I have faced before, I'm going to have a new way to think about it. And I'm going to have new tools in the toolbox. So what that means is for us, the Capitalize Your Best Life program, I've got to let people know I can solve that mindset problem for them. That's just one example. So think about you. If you want to make an impact on people, what problem are you solving? Impact is not just, oh, I like them, or, oh, I have a feeling from them. No, impact is you're solving a problem. Even if it's just entertainment, the problem you're solving for me is boredom. But if you want to make an impact, people have got to know what problem you solve, which means you've got to communicate that you can solve that problem. A second thing that people need to know if you want to make an impact is they need to know what sets you apart. If you want to make an impact in people's lives, what sets you apart? What makes you distinct? What is that best that you have that you can capitalize on? So, for example, in the Capitalize Your Best Life program, when we're helping people with mindset training, what sets me apart and what sets our program apart is that I personally went through the rebuilding of my brain through epilepsy. And so therefore I come with the experience of knowing how to rebuild a brain and train mindset. For you, if you're helping people solve a particular health problem or a spiritual problem, people need to know what's different than you than everyone else. Maybe what makes you different is that you do everything one-on-one. That's what makes you different. Or maybe you only do group training. And that's what makes you different. But if people don't know what sets you apart, if they don't know your unique talents, if they don't know what your best is, then they're not going to know why they should work with you instead of someone else. So if you want to make an impact on people's lives, you've got to let them know what problem you can solve. But more importantly, you've got to let them know what makes you different, what sets you apart, what is distinct about you, what is your best that you are bringing so that those problems can be solved. If you want to make an impact on people's lives, this is incredibly important. They need to understand how your story connects to that impact. I've mentioned before many times, and I will mention in almost every show because it's the lens by which I look through things, my journey through epilepsy. At various times, I lost my brain. I lost my health, went from 3 marathons in 1 year to not being able to run 1 mile. I lost a ton of money. I've gone years. I felt like at least 2 years, I felt like I lost. And then there was a gradual process of finding the right doctor, finding the right meds, changing my diet, changing my physical regimen, changing the way I think, changing what I read, changing how I learn, changing the way I communicate. For me, that story is woven into the impact that I want to make and capitalize your best life. I have a friend right now, Tuan Nguyen, who is now, he was in jail. He was exposed to John Maxwell. He came out. He built an amazing coaching program with Premier Excel with Corey Davis. Now he's written this book where he's helping people leave prison and go out and make an impact. And he's doing that. That story is attached to that book. And now he's doing seminars in prisons and he's making a difference in their life. That is transforming the way he does everything. But his story is uniquely attached to what makes him different and the problem that he can solve. And it's always connected in there. Whenever you are able to connect your story to what sets you apart, to the problem you can solve, you're going to multiply your impact. And that truly is the formula. The formula for making an impact is the connection of your story to what makes you different, what sets you apart, and what problem you can solve. And when you communicate that, your impact will grow. If you can clearly articulate how your story attaches to that gifting that you have and how you can solve someone's problem, your impact is going to multiply. So if your goal is to make an impact in people's lives, you're going to be a problem solver. You're going to have a unique ability to do it, and you're going to have a story attached to it. And that combination causes the multiplication of your impact and transforms people's lives. Friends, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. As always, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I have a community called the Capitalize Your Best online community. This is not on social media. There's no algorithms. There's no ads. There's no spam. It is a group of people who have come together who want to grow in 10 different areas of their life, in their faith, in their energy, in their body. We go through 10 pillars of capital. Those are the basis of the book, The Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader. We go through those in conversations. There is daily coaching in there, the Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern coaching call, a monthly seminar, courses. There's a wonderful community there. Wednesday night book club for the Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader. Friends, this club is $29 a month. That's cheaper than a tank of gas. It's going to take you a lot further. And if you want to get a 7-day free trial, reach out to me. I'd love for you to be there. But friends, as always, thanks for tuning into the show, and come back on Tuesday for Coach Training Partners. We got something special there, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much, friends. Bye-bye.